Okay, today's video we're going to talk about how to target specific firmographic traits like company size, employee count, revenue, when you're trying to run ads online, basically anywhere. Google, Facebook ads, doesn't matter what ads you're running online, for the most part, with some minor exceptions, but at least with all the main ad platforms that 99% of you guys would want to advertise on online, you can actually filter it down to the exact company size, employee count, whatever it is, or even stuff like they use HubSpot software to get the results that you want without having to target all the people that would be waste circulation for your campaigns and therefore make more money. So I'm going to get into just the basics of what Firmographics again is, just to explain the type of stuff that can and possibly would be done by a company like yours to get results with ads targeting people on a firmographic basis. And then I'm going to give you I have 8 examples here of how you can target companies with specific firmographic traits, whether that's company size or what have you, whether they're just companies seeking funding, whatever it is, so that you, no matter what, yes, you will be able to target on any level or any way that you want with one of these 8 methods. And as a general disclaimer, by the way, if you cannot target specific firmographic traits that you want with an ad platform that you're using, either comment below or reach out to me directly at my firm at guaranteeppc.com. I'd be happy to try to set you on the right path on how to do it for free. So that said, let's get into it. So firmographics are targeting options that let you target ads to people with only certain types of traits, as I mentioned. And we're talking, as they say in B2B business, people buy from people, not companies. So really what you're targeting is employees at companies that you want to target, right? Examples of firmographic traits that you could target and that also meet the criteria of firmographics, if you will, would be like the niche or industry, whether that's cleaning companies or gasket makers, what have you. Employee count, how many employees or staff does the company have? How much yearly revenue? I actually added in job title because you are, like I said, targeting individual people at these companies, not the companies themselves, unless, of course, you target everybody at that company, which you're still targeting people. But I put it in parentheses because that's technically not a firmographic trait, because firmographics are traits of companies, not individuals. But I added it anyway, since that, for the most part, if you watch my other videos about B2B advertising, you always got to get that part right as well. You have to be able to know the traits of the companies that you're going after and narrowing down your advertising to certain people that work at one of those companies, but you also got to have the right person at the company. If you target the low-level lackeys, you're wasting your money. If you target too high, they're not going to waste your time. Plus, they're just generally not on, like Facebook and crap like that anyway. They're too damn busy. They're working 80 hours a week. They don't have time for your pitch, if you will. So knowing what's the level, where's the sweet spot in there to go after, and then so you combine knowing that you need a company with 10 million plus revenue and uses sales training currently, and you pair that with knowing who you need to target, mid-level managers, and then you take the mid-level managers at these companies with the certain firmographic traits. Now you've got a campaign that can make money. As it comes to online advertising, you got to have a good product or service to sell. You got to have a good hook to be put on an ad to get someone's attention. But beyond that, for the most part, which is generally where the part where most people screw up, it's figuring out how to target what you have there that can work, so it's in front of the people that are just an absolute home run to be able to market and sell to, that would see it, that would right away when they see it know that it's interesting and would want to buy it. And weeding out all the other people that aren't that, essentially. Because if you narrow down your advertising enough, you'll make money. The only question is, how far do you need to narrow it down before you'll start making money, and can you narrow it down far enough that you can start making money? I'm here to tell you on this video, and as I mentioned before, you can narrow your advertising down to the exact type of company, and furthermore, the exact title of the person at the companies you need to work at, or that you need to target at those companies in general. So the question is, are you going to do it, and can you figure out what's the people at the companies you need to target? If you don't know who you need to target yet, by the way, as a side on that, you take your client list and you go and you look at your client list and you figure out what traits they have on average that make the kind of profit margins that you're looking for. And if you don't know that, or you want to know at a greater level, to know as much as you can about them, which you should do, go to a data expansion company that you can find those online using Google or whatnot. They'll tell you all the traits of the people that you're selling to, beyond what you would already know. Like the average person who works at this company and has this job title, most common hobby that they have is, watching football. And then it gives you more information to know how to narrow your targeting, so that even though they might not watch football and be a valid target, as you're trying to narrow down your advertising and eliminate the possibility of getting in front of people that are a waste, you can just only target people who watch football, even though it's not a typical way that you would target people at a company using firmographic data. And then, what I always say is you narrow down your advertising far enough to where you know it's going to be able to make money. And then you can start adding stuff back in. The other people who don't watch football, add those back in and so forth, and try to build it up and see where the cutoff point is, where you will not be able to make money anymore after the cost of running your advertising, if you will. Versus what everybody else basically does, which is they target way too many people and they end up with their money's gone in 2 seconds, and then they say it doesn't work. Start conservative, then work your way up. You can use the money in that case that you're making from the conservative campaign, reinvest it back into going a little bit further out, and then build it up. And therefore, it's basically guaranteed to work, if it can work, that is. I mean, you have a product or service that sells. Anyway, so you can target people using these firmographic traits. There's other exotic ways that you can target companies as well. People seeking an acquisition of another company, let's say. You can get a list of just those companies for targeting with your ad campaigns. People that were recently funded. People that use certain software, HubSpot, like I said before. So these are all different ways that you could think about targeting companies and furthermore employees at companies to get the results that you need. Again, figure out what do you need to know about your customers in order to set up your campaign so it's targeted enough so your campaign can make money because you've eliminated basically all the waste, or at the very least you got it so narrowed down, and these 10 things if ultimately, which is a little bit of an exaggeration, but if these 10 things the person has that I'm getting in front of, they basically are going to buy every time, well then you could basically only make money now, given that you did the work to figure out what those 10 things are, and then furthermore figure out how to set your ad up so it only shows to them. And to make sure it only shows to them in that kind of scenario, I went through the 8 most common methods that I use at our PPC firm, an online advertising firm, to do that exact thing. Get ads in front of exact people that we know buy from us and our company itself. So the first of which is to mention here, if you're advertising on Microsoft, Bing, or LinkedIn ads, for the most part, you don't have to do anything tricky to target people with certain firmographic traits. You can target people by industry there, job title, employee count, revenue, and so forth. And most people know that about LinkedIn, but you can also do that same thing on Microsoft/Bing, because Microsoft owns LinkedIn now, if you didn't know, and they take the data from LinkedIn to use it to power your Bing ads. So if you're doing a keyword search campaign on Bing, you can have it to where you actually emphasize that if the person searching for my keyword, sales training services, if that's what you sell, and they search for sales training services, the ad will only show if they're working on an employee over 100 employee count there. So that's the type of thing you could do with Bing. So that might be, in other words, you may just start out advertising on Bing instead of Google, because Google doesn't have that same thing by default. Now there's ways to work around it so you can do the same thing on Google, which I'll get into a second. But by default, Bing has it as well as LinkedIn. Anyway, second way to narrow your advertising down so you can get to the exact people that buy from the type of company that you have in the product and buy the products or services you sell. You can take customer data or hand-built data and upload it to a data expansion company to find out the correlated traits between them. I touched on this a bit earlier. So you take your customer list, you give it to a data expansion company, they tell you what are the most common traits out of tens of thousands of possible traits that a person could have, to tell you all the similarities, the most common similarities between them all. They might all be living in Texas. They might all then, most commonly, like I said, like football. They most commonly also might be, they're all, they like reading newspapers. You get the general idea. So these data expansion companies could tell you more about your companies more about your current customers or clients than you know about your current customers or clients yourself. Similarly, if you wanted to target people that use HubSpot, you could build a list of companies that have HubSpot, they use HubSpot, then upload that list of people who use HubSpot to a data expansion company, and then they'll tell you all the traits that all the people who use HubSpot have that are similar to each other, and use that as ammo to then target your campaigns. If you don't have any customers now, that's the way that you do it in that case. You don't have a customer list to give to the data expansion company. You have to make your own sample list, take that sample list that most of your customers that they are going to buy, they have to be HubSpot users, take it there, and then they'll tell you the other traits that HubSpot users has on their own. Once you have that, i.e. that they are luxury travelers, well then maybe my ads are just targeted to luxury travelers. Now that wouldn't be very targeted, but it would be one extra way that you can narrow down your ads with maybe 2 or 3 other things that will be the thing, the home run that you need to have available to you to do well with your ad campaigns, cut out all the waste. So that's one other way that you can kind of get to targeting the right people, the right traits with your campaigns using firmographic type data or related. 3, go to a data company like Nextmark or Experian to sell you a custom list of prospects. So this is like the easy approach if you need more than the typical basic stuff, but even if you do need the basic stuff, if you're doing Google ads, you're doing Facebook ads, they're not going to let you target by niche or industry or employee account, like I said earlier. So a lot of people think Experian's a credit score company. It's not their main business. They sell customer lists, informational lists. So they could give you lists of people that have asthma, or a customer list of people who buy luxury cars, and so forth. So going back to what I was saying before, if you start to pick up this information about your customers that makes them kind of unique, if you will, or prospects, you can go to a company like Experian and say, hey, I know my customer has this and this and this and this, and they're at a company of this size. please give me back a list of companies and people that work at those companies, specifically that, just in general, I want their email addresses. And they'll give you a list of, 5,000 people that have all 5 of those traits you gave them. So then you can take that email address and go to Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then target the exact list of people that you ultimately want to target without all the waste. You can do it with companies like Nextmark as well. They don't, basically with a company like Nextmark is they have pre-compiled lists as well, and you could go search. And if you're looking for a list of people who use HubSpot or HubSpot customers, you may be able to go on Nextmark and say, just type in HubSpot customers, and they'll give you a list of all the HubSpot customers because HubSpot sells their customer list to other third parties as a tertiary way of making income at their business. Now, I don't think HubSpot does that, but a lot of companies do. So you could get a list of people who buy a certain product because those companies that sell that product sell their customer lists to other people to market to those lists, if you will. Because if they buy this, if they buy this, they're a great prospect for us. You can go get that customer list of people who buy that product on Nextmark. Okay, you get my point? So, 4, you can do this by what customers or other sites they visit. Using Google Ads and then Google Display Network, which is done through Google Ads, as well as on YouTube Ads, you can actually, through something called custom intent audiences, you can tell Google you want to target people all across the web with my banner ads, which is what you can do through Google Display Network, and then all across YouTube, people who went to any site basically on the web that you want, for the most part. Not every single site, but most of them. And so what you could do with this is say, hey, if they've been to one of my competitors' sites, I want my ad to show up for them. Or you could say, going back to the HubSpot thing, if they've been to HubSpot.com, given maybe we're a HubSpot consulting firm, then I want my ad to show up in front of them. So that's really easy to do with Google, and between Google Display Network, which gets you banner ads on millions of websites that those same people would visit, and on YouTube, you pretty much can get in front of every single person who uses HubSpot then, because somebody who uses HubSpot has to go to HubSpot to log in. Or if it's a different company, maybe you do that because they go to those sites for customer service at some point, right? If there is customer service component to the thing that you're targeting and what the other company does. So that's one of the ways that you can target people based upon so-called firmographic data to narrow your advertising. 5th way, you can use geo-fencing or web beacons to target / filter your customers. So using the pragmatic ad networks, you can actually, if you want to target anybody who goes to your competitors' physical locations, through geofencing pragmatic ad networks that specialize in this, you can have that company build you a campaign that, literally speaking, if they went to go to your competitors' locations, your ads will be able to show up for them later through the pragmatic ad network. So it's another way to filter companies that you would ultimately only want to market to. And there's also web beacons, which, to get even more granular, if you wanted somebody who went into a certain part of a conference that were within 15 feet of a certain conference table, using web beacon technology, you could pick up those people and then run ads to them later on. You can look up my video about web beacons if you're interested in that, but that's another way to narrow down your advertising to the exact people that you would need to have your ad in front of once you know what they are. Okay? 6, use email to filter on Google Ads. So Google Ads, kind of like what I was talking about before with the Bing ads / Microsoft ads. If you want to target only certain people of a certain company size or certain trait or whatever on Google when they search for your keywords, so I mentioned with Bing you can do this already, but with Google, you want to only have, you want to target sales training services, but you want your ad to only show up for that person if they're from a company that has at least 100 employees. You can do that with email list filtering. You get a list of people that work at companies that are over 100 employees, then you take that email list and upload it to Google, and then you say, Google, if they're on this email list, I want to pay essentially way less, which effectively blocks them from seeing your ads for that keyword if they are on that list, so to say. So email list, so there's a million different ways that you can skin this cat. You could figure out people that you don't want, and then use that, and then buy an email list of those people, upload it to Google, and say, I don't want people on this email list. Or you could go the other way and find people that you do want and get that email list uploaded to Google and say, Google, unless they are on this list itself, I don't want my ad for sales training services to show up for that person. So that's a very effective way, by the way, in a lot of markets where it costs $20, $30, $40, $50, $100 a click on Google search ads to get the ads to pay. And your competition won't be doing it effectively. But so on the Google Display Network, going back to that, where you're running banner ads on the display network, it's the same thing. If you want to target people that are looking for a life insurance settlement, but you only want to target people who essentially are stage 4 cancer patients, which you can get an email list of them from different data brokers, like I'll just keep it, that's kind of a sensitive category, but you can get data like that from any data broker, or at least some of the data brokers, because they'll partner up with Facebook pages that have cancer related pages, and they get data from them. There's different ways. These data brokers are excellent at figuring out how to get lists like that, and then through them you can get the list. So anyway, it's just something in that life insurance industry, we knew that the people that want to buy life insurance policies from people wanted people that were near the end of life for the type of policies that they were buying, for example, and because ultimately those are the ones that they could buy. So when we could filter our ads to people that had late stage cancer, then the campaign was effective. Without it, the campaign's a little bit too broad. So essentially we did it a little bit different way than this for the most part, but getting a list of the level 4 cancer patients that we really wanted the people to call us from. We could use that email list to filter out our ads, so that our ads, when people are looking for life insurance settlement information on who to hire, how it works, how do you do it, it would only be seen on those pages. Those banner ads would only be seen on those pages like that if they were a stage 4 cancer survivor. So there's another way, through Google, using email list, through Google Display Network, how you can get display ads to work by using email lists. And effectively, the reason most people say Google Display Network doesn't work, and the reason for that is, for the most part, is they can't narrow down their ads enough to the absolute people that would work. Like I said before, if you narrow down your ads enough, you'll make money. What's that 1,000-person list that if you targeted only them, you would make money? And that's a lot of times what you have to do. So anyway, I know that wasn't a company related example, but certainly could be you're targeting car dealerships and people that are looking for sales training for car dealerships, and you need people with over 100 employees, and people then on Google Display Network that are looking for sales training, advice, what have you. Your banner ad only shows up on those pages to get those as prospects if they're actually working at a company with over 100 employees. So it's the same thing. Anyway, that's the 6th way. 7th way, you can use conference lists. So all the big conferences, trade shows, all that stuff, they generally always sell the attendee list, and you could get access to that, and then you could use that to target people people that go to conferences are generally more open to new ideas. So if you're trying to sell like different services to them, that might be helpful. But then on top of that, they usually don't filter the list very well. So if you wanted people that are just people that work at companies over 100 employees that went to that conference, then you could use it with other filtering methods in order to do that. So for instance, you ultimately may not use the conference list by itself, but if you use the conference list with somebody that has went to XYZ website as well, and you combine the two, now your list is narrow enough to where it can work effectively. And whereas each one by itself wasn't effective enough to work, you needed somebody who has been looking for sales training information on website and researching it, and been to a conference as well, indicating that person's really motivated, whereas each one individually on its own, they were only semi-interested enough. Or ultimately when you test it, it doesn't convert well enough, but when you combine the two, it increases the likelihood that person would convert enough where your campaign will be profitable after expenses. And then of course the last one is just straight up custom lists. So whatever you can't get done because it's just so customized, you can go out there, use an offshore contractor to go build a list of companies. Generally, most stuff that you need to know is on the company's website, either listed somewhere on the website. Sometimes looking through the source code, if you want to see what web software they're using, like HubSpot, you can find it that way. Or you pay the person to inquire. Hey, I'm looking for X. Do you offer X? And then they write down yes or no, and then you'll know if they offer that. Or I'm looking to speak to XYZ person about this. And then based upon how they reply, you put yes or no down into a list. And through that mechanism alone, you can generally develop really customized lists of prospects that you could then upload to get your list to Google, Facebook, LinkedIn again, to run ads to only those people that you verified have the certain traits that make them a home run type prospect to go after with your campaigns. So that's another way to target people on a firmographic level, if you will, and get the kind of results that you want out of your ad campaigns online. So again, like I said before, if you're struggling to find a way to narrow down to certain people that you know would be a home run for you to get in front of, you can reach out to me and I'll certainly find a way for you to do it. If you don't know who to target and your ad campaigns aren't profitable because you haven't figured out how to narrow down your ads enough, I can also help you figure out how to narrow your ads down because I do this all day long for different companies. So in either case, whatever you're struggling with, as we covered today, reach out to my firm. I'll be happy to try to set you on the right path. Or in the comments section, you can leave me a comment and I'll answer it there. So with that said, if you like the video, I appreciate it if you give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel, as I have a ton of other content on this channel specifically about how to make money with online advertising. It comes from myself running personally dozens of ad campaigns online on an ongoing basis for our clients that we have at our firm. I'm the one strategizing all of our clients' results, and unlike other YouTubers that don't run client campaigns like I do, or they manage only a couple campaigns, I got a live feed on what's working and in real time, and therefore it's the best information truly that you can find on YouTube in terms of how to actually make money and what's working out there today. Not only that, we got to guarantee results for our clients, and all the stuff I'm using to guarantee clients results I'm also giving to you on this channel, as well as the stuff that doesn't work I tell you about on this channel as well. So it's the best information you can find on YouTube. You should subscribe. If you like my channel, I also got a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog, also authored by myself, which goes more into depth on certain strategies that I use to guarantee results for our clients. You can check that out as well. Like I said, if you have any questions about this, leave me a comment below. if you need somebody to help you do the stuff I'm talking about here, or just you don't have time or don't want to do the stuff that is what it's going to take to get results on your campaigns on Google, Facebook, whatever you're running online, reach out to my firm. I guarantee you clients results, as I mentioned on this video a minute ago. Whereas if you're looking for somebody who will simply help take a piece of the sales increase that you get from your campaigns, that's actually what we do here. We either will give you so much results up front in terms of more sales on the same ad spend, or we'll increase your sales while maintaining your ROI up front, and we won't take a fee until we get you a certain amount up front achieved, enough to where it would cover the cost of our services. Or we'll partner with the company and say we'll take a certain percentage of your sales past what you have now, and we'll partner with you and charge nothing for our services. And that's actually our preferred way of doing business now moving forward. We'll take 1 to 4% of a company's sales, and we'll grow it. We'll grow your company 10 to 50 times bigger than what you have right now, just through the power of running online ads. So anyway, if you're interested in that, reach out to my firm, guaranteeppc.com. We don't work with everybody, but I can look at your stuff and see how much results I can get you and at least get back to you. So with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another great strategy for you there to reveal. See you there.